Good day, fellow champions of inclusion. I am A. Ron, and this is the Inclusive Dad Podcast, where we explore inclusion and make it practical. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me in exploring ways we can create a more inclusive world together. You are important, you matter, and you can make a difference. Today, my guest is Crystal Jordan. Welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be here and really talk about inclusion.
Why don't you start off with just telling me a little bit about who you are?
So, my name is Crystal Jordan. I am an autism advocate, IEP advocate, and philanthropist. I'm an author, magazine owner. I do so many things, but most importantly, I'm a mom. And of course, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend. But I started this whole journey because of my son, Zachariah. He's the reason for everything I'm doing. He's my why, my purpose, and he's the reason why I want to make an impact in society today.
That's great. How old is he?
He is 7. He's about to be 8 in a couple days.
Okay.
Super excited about that. I didn't really plan much. Everybody asked me, what do you have planned? Probably bowling because he likes bowling. I'm going to let him decide what he want to do this year. And what he decides is what we're going to do. So I'm going to show him like 3 pictures and I'm going to let him choose it. And I'm going to make him choose it like 3 times and do 3 trials. What he chooses the most is what I'm going to spend our money on.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
What is your definition of inclusion?
My definition of inclusion is simple. I want companies to hire autistic individuals, neurodiverse individuals, and especially I wanted to have positions available for people that are non-speaking and nonverbal, because we have a lot of individuals in society that do not have a voice as I have a voice or a Ron have a voice. We need jobs for them to have people to pay their bills. We need jobs for them to be able to provide for their needs and their families. I think it's unfortunate what's going on with DEI, federal, but that's been my mission before the DEI push what's been going on and what we're seeing today. Because I lost my voice. Was it last year? It was probably last year or the year for last. Can't remember the exact year. But when I lost my voice, my manager at the time sent me home, and he told me that my voice was part of my uniform. I was so hurt, so sad. I was crying. I cussed him out in sign language, ASL. I did. I did. I most definitely did. And it was when God took my voice, it gave me understanding what my son would go through. I had to go grocery shopping that day. I had to go buy food that day, and I could not talk. As much as I tried, nothing was coming out. So I had to write. I remember talking on the phone using a text. I would text what I wanted to say, and I found the app on the computer, and it was talking for me. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why I switched my focus from awareness to inclusion, then to jobs.
Right.
I just have to give you a full story on why the job thing is super important to me.
Yeah, that is interesting. Like something happened to you in your life where you didn't have your voice, and kind of showed how important it was to have your voice. That's interesting.
And it showed me that companies need to be more inclusive, and you actually need to understand the word. You need to understand if like I was using sign language that day. I remember and guests understood me. I lose my voice every year around the same time now. It's so ironic. I lost my voice last week. I could not talk. And my manager said, "You got this." And I wrote, "Yes." And I was writing because I know they don't understand. Yes, no. So I was like, okay, let me write. But some guests understood it. And I work at a hotel.
Okay.
But since that have happened, that instant with that old manager, I have been vocal about this is not okay. Right. I also pushing at my job, and I want the listeners and viewers to push at their jobs. Ask your big managers when you're going to hire neurodiverse individuals, autistic individuals, non-speaking, non-verbal individuals, hard of hearing individuals. Ask those questions. I ask those questions. I have a meeting with my job in April to discuss that because I'm big on that. I literally went up to my general manager in my hotel, and I said, "Hey." He said, "Hey, Crystal." I said, "So I have a question. When are we going to hire more individuals And I just went to this whole boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I don't have a perfect answer for you. I said, that's okay, because we can have a meeting and we can really discuss it. And he could, at my job, I'm I'm the face of autism awareness and acceptance, because I'm the one that forces them. I didn't force them, but I kept bringing it up to the point now we celebrate it. And I
Okay.
make sure it's a thing. And I even now talk about, what about when we have guests that are autistic?
Right.
How will you guys know? How will you guys know to go over and beyond for that guest? Because that guest don't understand what, they don't see the world how you may see the world. So I'm very big. When I say I do what I do, I actually do it.
That's great. So like before your son was born and diagnosed with autism, did you have any experience like working in the disability world or any exposure to it?
So you're the first person to ever ask me that question. The answer is no and yes. I have a best friend. Her cousin is autistic. I was around, but I didn't take the time. I was young. I didn't take the time to learn what it was,
Sure.
because it didn't directly affect me, but I paid attention to it
Yeah.
and I seen it. And when my son was diagnosed, then I literally 2 days after he was diagnosed started to do research. And
Right.
I know I'm not the typical parent. I know that for a fact, but I just wanted to understand what I was up against and what could I do to make sure my son's life is easy as he transition, as he get older.
Right. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. Part of my story is I don't ever recall hearing the word disability or having any exposure to it before my daughter was born. So I had to learn all of it on my own and at that time. So it's just kind of interesting to me to find out like other people's how they were kind of brought into the disability arena. So it's interesting.
And then I have I on my mom's side. I don't know my mom's side that well.
Okay.
My mom moved away from home a long time ago. I have a hard of hearing cousin. I have a cousin I have disability family members on my mom's
Okay.
side. So, but again, I don't know them as well.
Right.
And I have a cousin who is deaf, and I say hard of hearing, because I don't want to disrespect that community. And she uses sign language. And when I do see her, I try to learn with her, but I wasn't exposed to it younger.
Right.
I didn't really meet my family until 25,
Okay.
and I still don't talk to them as much because it's so much time. And I'm 35 now. That was 10 years ago,
Right.
but I was exposed to it in
Sure.
moderations.
Okay. What inspired you to become an autism advocate, and how do you support parents navigating the IEP process?
What inspired me to be an autism advocate? Number one is God, because when I wrote my first book, Just Like You, I didn't call myself an advocate. I literally could tell people I'm a mom on a mission, trying to
Mhm.
push I'm just a mom on a mission. I wasn't trying to push inclusion. I wasn't trying to push acceptance, or I was pushing awareness, but I was just a mom on a mission trying to
Yeah.
normalize the conversation around autism. And so people started calling me an advocate. I started getting podcast interviews and articles written about me. And I said, oh, I guess I'm an advocate.
Okay.
The people decided it. I did not decide it originally. Originally, I was just a mom. And
Right.
I kept saying, I'm not an expert. I'm just a mom. I would correct people in interviews.
Yeah.
If anybody ever wanted to go back and listen to them. But that's what happened. And then with me navigating the IEP process, I literally just did an IEP yesterday with a family. It was a 3-hour meeting. That was the longest IEP meeting I have ever done to date. Um, how do I help families? I do it free because my heart is pure. I want to help because everybody don't have resources and money to fight the school system when the school system is wrong. Everybody
Right.
don't have money and resources to have an advocate come in and help them, navigate the IP and know the SMART goals. Know what is a SMART goal. A SMART goal is a strategy. It's a strategy based. So you have S for SMART. S for specific. You have M for measurable. You have A for attainable. R for relatable. You gotta be relevant. You gotta be relevant.
Yep.
T for time, because you gotta be time bound. Because I hate when I see IEPs and they're opinion based. And I'm like, that this isn't a SMART goal. How can we make it a SMART goal? So that's how I got into that. I got into the IEP process because My first IEP with my son, it was scary. I didn't know what I was doing, but luckily I had. I'm pro ABA. Luckily, I had my son ABA coming there to help me navigate it, and from there I learned what I didn't like, and I started paying more attention to IEPs. I have not had the best experience with IEPs with me personally, and but once I really started to learn what IEP was and I broke it down, I don't have to. My son IEPs meetings are done in an hour. It's so quick
Yeah.
for me because I know what I'm doing, and I now go in as an advocate versus a mom. I am not a mom. I'm an advocate first, then mom second. I know that may sound crazy. The reason why I say that I disconnect the mom side because the mom side is very attached, and no, the advocate side is very database. This is what we need. This is the time. I need this email by this date. I need da. That's I'm very based on that. And with me doing that as my new strategy with everything with my son, everything has been much better for me.
Right.
Even services, like I would cut a service off immediately if I don't feel that is appropriate for my child or my client.
Yeah. Yeah, what you said makes a lot of sense with me too. Like I said, didn't have any experience with any of this stuff. So the first IEP meeting that I can remember, my son's 15 months older, so we went to his like kindergarten, getting ready for school meeting, which is just his mom and I, him and the teacher, like 5 minutes, drop off your supplies, in and out. Went to my daughter's. There's like 10 people on the other side of the table. I was like, what is happening right now? You guys didn't give me a heads up about this. I mean, that was my first experience. So I kind of like you help families. I learned all of it on the fly, just a lot of things they don't tell you that I love, I want to share with parents. But your point about you're an advocate first and then a mother second, that's a great tip, because as a parent, like the emotional side is if you're not kind of detaching from the emotions in that situations, it's hard to, hear stuff, hard to be about, focus on what needs to be done. They say something, you kind of get attached, you kind of get upset because they said a word that kind of triggers something. So that's a great tip to try to be effective in an IEP meeting, is just try to detach the emotions as much as you can. Sometimes it's hard, you're the parent and it's your child, but it definitely goes better if you can do that, for sure.
For me, it's not hard. I cut it on. My mom has watched me cut it on and off. Like,
okay.
So when I'm a mom, I'm a mom. But when I'm an
Yep.
advocate, it depends what advocate you get. I have two sides of advocacy. I got the nice side advocate, and I got the advocate that she's not gonna play with you today.
Right.
And so I get so much done. Like
Yeah.
I get so much, and it's crazy because originally I wasn't like that. When I first I was the mom, and I had the worst IEP experience with this teacher. I'm not sure if she's even still a teacher because how bad it was. It was a terrible experience. Like, and then once we transitioned to kindergarten, it became better. And then once I turned off the mom side, I haven't had no problems. It's so much easier, and I just treat my son like my client. I know when he's my son.
Yeah.
I don't know if he know the difference sometimes, but I know when he's my son. But he's my son all the time. But I can't. I have to detach because I have to get stuff done because I am his voice. I am the one that's going to push him to be better than he need to be. Because like I say all the time, I'm not going to be here forever. I'm literally going to die. Don't know when I'm going to die, but I'm going to die, and I have to prepare him for life. That's why I create everything I've created is centered around him for he can take over.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me too. That's why I'm kind of big on part of the reason I'm big on the inclusion piece is like I'm not always going to be around to take care of my daughter, so I need her, being around other people in the community that recognize her. If she needs help, they can help her too. I can't always be the one helping her. I need other people to, be able to help as well. So that's part of the reason why inclusion is pretty important to me.
It's so important because we're not going to be here forever. And that's literally why I created Ausomely You magazine, because I want to hire neurodiverse individuals.
Right.
Like, it's a problem. Like right now, we see what's going on. So we have to be a solution to these problems. We have to figure it out as parents because our kids are going to become adults.
For sure. What are like some key challenges that parents of special needs children face, and how um, can they effectively advocate for their child?
I say one thing that we face as it don't matter if you're an autistic parent. And my son has ADHD as well. It don't matter if
Okay.
you're ADHD, Down syndrome, all of it. This is what we focus. This is where we struggle the most. Resources. It's not enough resources. The wait lists are too long.
Right.
The some of the therapists are lack ethical. They don't know how to be a professional individual. Some of the therapists are aggressive towards our kiddos. So this is what I see as an advocate. I be looking like, oh no. And it's just, and I can speak for Georgia, the wait list is just too long. Like my son needs speech services now. And he's been at one company on the wait list for a year. And then I couldn't, so it just hit the year. And you know, with insurance, you can't do evaluations only every 6 months or something like that. So it's hard for you to navigate to find someone else because, oh, you already did an evaluation. So I can't work with you. So the lack of resources when it comes to the services that we actually need for our kids is hard. And that's where I'm frustrated the most. I sometimes feel like I'm not doing enough. I can't speak for everybody else because most people, everybody look at me and they be so inspired. But sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough because my son needs 2 services and I can't get them. Right. And I go in as an advocate and mom, but it's like, oh, we don't have the staff. Or when I meet the staff, they're just unethical. Or I'm like, oh my God, like it's I just have not had a good experience with personally finding a speech therapist here in Georgia. Sure. It has been the worst experience. It's sometimes I want to move, but everything I need is here. But I just thought that's what I personally struggle with is getting my son speech and OT services.
Sure. Before we started recording, you shared a little bit about a bill that you're writing.
Yes.
Georgia, do you want to share a little bit about that?
Mm-hmm. So I went to the state capitol and I was advocating for special needs. I feel like right now is the time to do it because I feel like this community as a whole is under attack. We are under attack from the companies not supporting it anymore. They don't want to hire individuals anymore. So I went to the state capitol this week. I got a legislator to give me a bill. I'm in the process of writing it. And this is such a blessing because now my voice is about to be heard for my son and so many more Georgians is about to be heard. Mm-hmm. It's going to get walked to the floor. I'm not sure the date, but the bill, I got to pull it up, y'all, because I've been working on it. And, oh, y'all, if y'all have feedback, if you have feedback, please give me some because I'm not going to lie. This has been a journey to write it. Because when he said, I need it soon. I said, don't worry. I said, if I told you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So I'm going for this bill. I'm focusing on autism because that is my thing. And I may focus on ADHD. I'm still not sure. I'm praying on it. But I'm really trying to focus on the expansion of more resources and support because I feel like we need to allocate funds for that. Now, I know the word funds, it may be hit or miss because I notice when it's funding and bills, they deny it. So I did also put education in there. And I also put, of course, workforce development because, again, I feel that we need individuals with all disabilities being able to work. So I did put that in there. And that's it so far because I'm still working, but I am working on a bill and I'm super excited about it because it's needed. It's needed. Yeah. And I plan to name it after my son because, again, he's the reason why I do everything I do. Right. Like from my books, from the magazine that I'm publishing in April, everything is centered around my child. So,
yeah. So What kind of led you to go to the Capitol? Just everything that's going on, or you just wanted to check it out? Or what?
Okay, that's a great question. So one of my close friends, she's a domestic violence advocate, and she have a nonprofit for domestic violence. So Wednesday they was going to stand up for survivors.
Okay.
So she invited me to come with, and I went. And I was like, "Oh," I said, I'm gonna advocate too, because I'm not a DV survivor." So anyway, I was just talking to the legislators, talking to them, and one of them said, "You know what? I'm gonna give you." He told me each legislator has 10 bills they can get. I think I'm not sure if it's a year, every 2 years. I'm not sure of that. And he said, "I'm gonna give you one of my bills." And he told me I had a deadline, and I said, "Okay." And we shook on it. And I told him I was gonna email him and contact him when I'm done. I'm almost there. I'm still not there yet. I'm almost there. But
Interesting.
yeah, and we shook on it, and he's excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's like I can't wait. The day he walks into the floor, I'm gonna be there, because even if let's say it get denied, it doesn't matter. I literally went to the Capitol to get a bill sponsored for special needs. I don't know a lot of people that can say they did that. I don't know anybody, but if it get passed, oh my God. This is what I pray for, because it's so many things that this community needs, let alone autism. Like, it's so much. Even though I want to focus on autism, I may make it for everyone. I'm still not sure. I'm still like trying to figure it out, because I have my deadline is like getting very thin. So yeah, I'm super excited about the bill.
That's very exciting.
Thank you.
So how do you shook on it, and he said you could have one of his spots for the bills he could bring to the floor? Like, then what did you do? How does one try to figure out how to write a bill for the legislature?
I've been on Google.
Okay. I mean,
I've been on Google. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been on Google. Like, I Googled it. I found the template on Google, and I just been like, okay, I want this. And I've been asking parents. Georgians is for Georgia, so I've been asking parents, give me input. Everybody been giving me input. The input is the same. Everybody want to focus on education.
Yeah.
And most people want to focus on autism. So I've been asking for everybody input, and my input has been the same. It's already what I wrote. So I was like, okay, it's what I wrote. But I wanted to not make it about Crystal. It's not about me. Nothing I do is about Crystal. Everything I do is about my son and his community, because I'm not sure if I'm autistic, because I haven't took the test, because it's so expensive. I'm pretty sure 9 to 10 I am. But until then, it's for his community.
Right.
Even though I'm pretty sure I'm neurodiverse, because I read numbers backwards. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's so terrible.
How big is faith in your journey?
Oh my God. Okay, so I love that question in particular, because in October of 2024, that's when God really told me to walk in my purpose and really listen, and I've been obedient. With me being obedient to God, I have done over 34 podcast interviews on this subject. He gave me a vision to launch Ausomely You magazine. That launched in April. The bill that just happened. Like, God told me he was gonna take care of my needs, because I already have a magazine, which is becoming her magazine. But that's an amazing brand, but that's not my mission and purpose.
Right.
And God made that clear to me. And I just been walking in it and listening to him, being obedient. I'm nervous because it's nothing on the market like Ausomely You magazine. And I'm just blessed, and I'm full. I'm so spiritually full. Like, with the bill thing just happening, I was so in the moment, like, I see you can make me cry. And I wear makeup. I don't have on nothing today. I'm like, you can ruin my makeup. Like, I'm about to cry. Like, and I don't have my makeup was at home. I can't touch it up. I said it was just a beautiful moment with that. So God is very real in me, my brand, and I'm just being obedient. And whoever God brings in my path to want to collab with me, put a business ad in, whatever they want to do.
Right.
It's amazing because like I said again, I'm creating this brand for my child.
Yeah.
I only have one son. I only have one child. So my son. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, you mentioned faith a few times, so I was just curious. I mean, I grew up Baptist, so I have that in my past. I'm not as much, I would say.
Christian.
You're what?
I'm Christian.
Okay, there you go.
I'm not the judgmental Christian. If my listening, I don't do that. But I believe you walk long as you walk in your purpose.
Yeah.
And you believe in a higher being than yourself. That's all that matters. Just walk in your purpose.
Yeah. How do you stay motivated to continue advocating and make a difference even when times are tough?
I think about my son. It just, I don't have no other answer for it because I have days where I don't want to do anything. I have days like, prime example, when I finally announced the magazine, I was sick for 6 days. I had no motivation. I was sick. It was a terrible. When I released it, I was sick and I had no motivation. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, my son needs this. His community needs this. And because I know my son would need what I'm doing 20 years later from today, that's what motivates me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's my why. I just think of him. And then I think of the families I have helped. I have advocated for so many families, and then I have empowered them to be who they are today. So I think of that. I'm also working on a documentary focusing on the heart of it's called Ausomely You, the heart of autism. It's bigger than me because everybody's story is so different. Your story is different. My story is different. Nobody's story is the same. So what keeps me motivated is my son and the community, the ones in the community that are positive, because everybody in this community is not nice.
Right. For sure. When do you sleep?
Never. As long as I get at least 4 to 5 hours a day, I'm good.
Then you're good. Yeah.
Then I'm good. I don't really sleep like that, but as long as I have 4 to 5 hours, I'm good.
You're good. Mm-hmm. You just have a lot of going on. Sounds like.
I do, but you know what though? The way that God is like moving and grooving, it's like I'm here, I'm there, I'm here, I'm there. Everything is working together because everything I do is centered around autism anyway. So everything is like one big pot, and I'm making gumbo.
There you go. Yeah. What is one tip you can share to help our listeners be more inclusive today? Just something simple that people can start today to be more inclusive.
I want you to go to your local business and ask them, can they do once a week or bi-weekly something that can be sensory related? Or can they open an hour early for the neurodiverse community or autistic individuals? That's practical because that business can increase revenue. B, they are now an ally in the community. And C, they're going to be the winners at the end of the day. So that's one thing you can do. And then why is it important? And you talk about your why. Your why is different from my why.
Yep. That's a great tip. Nobody's ever given that tip. So I love that.
Oh, thank you. I told you I'm big on inclusion.
It's great.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to talk about that we haven't talked about?
So I think I talked about everything, you guys. If you want to support me, I am Crystal Jordan on all platforms. If you want to be featured in Ausomely You, go to Ausomely You Mag. I spell Ausomely different. It's AUESMO, AUESMELY. Then it's You Mag. I messed that up because I was about to spell it the correct way. But you just take the W out and you put the U.
Okay.
And that's how you spell it.
Sure.
As a play off autism.
Sure.
And then if you want to watch the documentary, you guys, it's going to be on Tubi. It is directed by Lyric Jackson of Full Cinema. You guys, I'm so proud of that documentary. It's not done yet. I'm featuring so many moms. And I'm also featuring an autistic mom who she lost her voice. She's now nonverbal. She regressed. She regressed. And she used an AAC device. And she told me I could share this. She almost lost her home because she can't get a job. So she almost lost her home. Like, and the bank just worked with her last week. So that's great news. But you get to see that play out in a documentary. Sure. And if you want to buy my books, just Amazon or exactrightword.com. I think that's everything. I know I do so much, y'all. And then I know I do so much. I do so much. And I also have a community on Facebook, Ausomely You community.
Okay.
And I also plan to I'm launching something for moms and dads. Not dads, moms this year.
Awesome.
So stay tuned.
Ready for the last question? Do you like Spam lunch meat? Yes or no?
I used to eat it as a kid. I haven't had it as an adult.
So that's a no, probably?
I don't know. I haven't had it as an adult. As a kid, I ate it because we had no choice. But as an adult, I have not. I walk right past it. You like Spam?
I eat it. So the reason I asked that question, I live in Austin, Minnesota, where they make Spam and where the Spam Museum is located. So I've been asking all my guests if they like it or not, just to see. Kind of a fun off-the-wall question. So it's actually pretty spread evenly, yeses and nos. I eat it maybe once a year. We get some and fry it up and have it. It's not like a staple. So
it's good fried.
It's good fried, yeah.
It's good fried. I ate it as a kid. I haven't had Spam as an adult. I can't tell you how it tastes. I don't even remember.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even know how to describe it, really. Salty? I mean, there's a lot of salt in it, so it's salty. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Hot dog-ish. I don't know.
Kid, that's when my mom and dad were trying to make ends meet. That's when we eat Spam. Yep. I don't eat it as an adult because I ain't trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
So,
for sure. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. I had a lot of fun.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you for you creating this platform, number one, because us talking about inclusion, hopefully we inspire somebody else to understand why it's so important.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can share this episode and then you keep doing what you're doing and keep being AA Ron.
Thank you. To those listening, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey. It is truly an honor. Please join the podcast newsletter by clicking on the link in the episode description to keep up with the latest episodes. Together, we can make the world more inclusive. Until next time, stay empowered and be a champion for inclusion.